Hello, and welcome to the Master Disaster Deep Dive session on managing provider VDC Datastore roles in Zerto with vCloud Director integration. My name is Justin Nordeste, Senior Cloud Sales Engineer with the Zerto team, and I'll be walking us through the demonstration today. As you can see in my lab, I have two existing cloud sites that are both vCloud Director integrated, and I do have some protection groups that are replicating here. In order to start specifying the Datastore roles, I can go ahead and click the cog icon in the top right, the Advanced Settings button, and then the Configure Provider VDCs button. Once we're here, I can add the provider VDC resources that are available at this site. Next, I can start specifying which volumes are going to be used and how they're going to be used by Zerto. So by default, this bottom radio button is selected, and this basically means that any data stores that are available to the provider VDC can be used as recovery volume and journal resources. If we don't have a data store provided, specifically with the journal role, then any recovery volume data store can be used for a journal data store. Those is sufficient to start replicating either between two cloud provider managed sites or from a remote DR as a service customer to the cloud. Some providers choose to control which data stores are used by Zerto. So with this, we can select the top radio button, and this means that Zerto will only use the data stores that are listed in the table below. Any unlisted data stores are not used by Zerto. If we click the Add button, I'm going to add the shared storage I have between my hosts. You'll see that the local storage to these hosts is available, but in this case, I'm going to want Zerto just to use the shared storage. The data store will then be added to the table, and we have the option to select our three roles here. The recovery volume option means that any recovery disks or replica disks can be located on this data store. These are the disks that are going to be mounted to our recovered virtual machines during operations. I'll also select the journal option here. Journal is the additional disk per VM where we store the I/O as part of our continuous data protection model. While the I/O is in the journal, we will log checkpoints, and these are the points in time that we can fail over to. And by specifying this role in the data store, it means that that journal disk can be located on this data store. Our last option here for pre-seed, this means that if I previously had a VPG replicating to this data store, or if I had a copy of a pre-seeded disk for a virtual machine, then I can select that disk from the data store and use it to pre-seed. The benefit here is that instead of performing a full copy of the disk on initial creation of the protection group, I can instead do a delta sync, which will only sync over the differences between the production disk and the recovery volume disk. As a Zerto best practice, we do recommend selecting all three roles for data stores that are added, simply because it'll more easily allow the system to function seamlessly without much additional configuration. Zerto also has the option to specify a default storage profile. It's important to note, however, that Zerto will always take preference to the default storage profile for the organization VDC that the protection group is going to replicate into. Now that we've completed the configuration, I can save here and save again under our advanced settings, and new protection groups that are created to replicate to this cloud will have these settings specified. It's important to note that the settings in the Configure Provider VDC window will not be retroactively applied to any existing protection groups. However, Zerto does support storage vMotioning of both recovery volumes and journal volumes. So if you wish to move these volumes onto the specified data stores, you can do so leveraging vSphere storage vMotion. Thanks for watching, and for any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to your Zerto representatives.